Welcome back to Great Day. Long before Houston became the foodie city we know today, one family was cooking up a culinary category that became its own genre. Molina's Cantina opened its doors in 1941. That same year, the term Tex-Mex first appeared in print. 85 years later, it remains Houston's oldest family-owned Tex-Mex restaurant with generations of customers and employees. Joining us to celebrate this remarkable milestone is Ricardo Molina. Good morning.
Good morning.
I love that, in a country where we have lots of chain restaurants, and that's fine, owned by, hedge fund groups or whatever, investment groups, that's great. But when you have one that's so integrated into the community, it's such a great story. And you walk in and you still see the owners and the people whose names are on the buildings. This story started in 1929 when your grandfather, Raul, moved to Houston.
Yes. Papa moved to Houston. He came from Nuevo Laredo, working on a caravan burying gas pipeline. It was one of the first utilities we had. He got to Houston. They were going to go to Dallas. He didn't like the cold, so we stayed in Houston. Mama came from Guanajuato, and they met in Houston. He was working at different restaurants, dishwasher, busboy. He worked at James's Coney Island for years, got up to be a counterman. He said he told me that he spoke more Greek than English when he first got here.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, they met, they eloped. They had 2 sons, and we're still here.
Yeah. And became entrepreneurs.
Yes.
I'm sure he shared with you that decision. You mentioned he was the busboy, he was the counter guy, he was the dishwasher, he did all of that. But shared with you the decision to save enough money and buy their own restaurant.
That's right. They lived, the original one on West Gray, they lived upstairs. They had my dad and his younger brother, Uncle George. The restaurant downstairs, everybody worked in the business, and then they found this restaurant on Main Street, Mexico City, where the guy just said he had enough, he's going back to Mexico. Mama and Papa bought it, and that's where that started.
Yeah. The term Tex-Mex, for a long time we'd say Mexican food, and they say, well, we really realize that Tex-Mex and Mexican food are 2 different things, or 2 different countries, right? And then there's influence, though, of Mexican food, obviously mixed in with Texas, so it became its own genre.
Sure, and a big part of it was in San Antonio, and they've got their style, we've got our style here, and it's just really taken off. I can't tell you how many times we'll have guests come in and say, what are y'all up to? We just came from the airport and we just got back from Mexico.
Oh yeah. We need our Tex-Mex food at Molina's.
It's our comfort food.
It's comfort food, absolutely it is. But you were Houston restaurant pioneers. You helped to shape the dining culture, among the first Houston restaurants to install air conditioning, bless you, okay? Among the first Houston restaurants to serve frozen margaritas, all right? And I'm gonna take a sip right here, which margaritas have not been around, I think, as long as people might think they are, but they certainly are a staple in Tex-Mex food.
They absolutely. We got liquor by the drink in the early 70s in Texas, and then margaritas just took off, first in Mexican restaurants. It's been the #1 mixed drink around the world now for many, many generations.
Yeah, and you've served many people, generations, as I mentioned earlier. You'll have the grandparents who have come in, sometimes great-grandparents who have come in, the grandparents, the kids, and now the grandkids. President George H.W. Bush and Barbara Bush were longtime guests as well. They would come in, and one of the other things, speaking of margaritas, that we appreciate is the to-go margaritas during the pandemic. How many people had those Zoom meetings, corporate, their Zoom meetings, and it looked like it was a coffee cup? No, that's not. There was no coffee in that cup. It was Molina's frozen margaritas. All right.
Helped us through very, very difficult times.
Yes. Look, cheers to that.
Salud.
Yeah, salud. All right, but. As we know, you got there based on the food. So many great things that you started. One of them is right in front of me, and this caused problems because your queso was not just regular queso. Tell us how this started.
Well, we have chili con queso. We offer that just like everybody else. And we had a waiter named Jose, and he started adding the taco meat to it and giving it to his guests, and then other guests would see it, and then they'd come back and order it and all. Then we added it to the menu, and it's like our #1 seller.
And it causes problems because you can't stop eating it, #1. But #2 is when you go to other restaurants, don't be asking for this. Because what are you talking about? You just stay at Molina's, right?
Imposters.
Yeah, imposters, just stay at Molina's. Day to day, walking in, we get to see family members, but you still work together as a family. That's a blessing.
Yes, we do. It's myself and my older brother and younger brother, 3rd generation owner operators, and I don't know how many generations of guests we've been serving, but at least 5 generations that I can think of. We still have guests that come in. We have a gentleman, Mr. Downman, that comes in 4 or 5 times a week when he's in town, and he came in and knew my parents, but he came in a baby carrier.
Oh.
So he's been coming in for 82 or 83 years.
Wow. Okay. We talked about the story about this Jose's dip, but you also have the enchiladas de Tejas. It's been on the menu since when?
Since 1941. Cheese enchilada. You can get them cheese or beef with chili con carne on it, onions, and if you're living right, you put a fried egg on it. It's wonderful.
If you're living right. Okay, and then you have your Nancy Ames nachos. And Nancy Ames, of course, a lot of us know that name here in Houston. Wonderful woman, had a TV show. She's a singer. She and her husband, Danny, have an entertainment company. Good morning to both of you, by the way. But she has her famous nachos.
That's right. She had Dad on the show years ago. It was in the 70s. And Dad, I think, was making just nachos with guacamole, cheese, etc. And she says, this is how I like mine. And she started putting everything on it. The only thing we don't have on here is onions, and she takes onions on hers. She still comes in. I saw her just a while back. Wonderful, wonderful woman.
All right,
Great
we'll just roll some onions from here.
Yeah, you
I'll
put
make
an
sure
onion
now
on
we
there.
have an
There you
actual
go.
Nancy Ames nacho.
You've got
right
a real
here.
Nancy nacho.
Yeah. With so many restaurants to compete with in Houston, what do you say your secret ingredient is that keeps people coming back again and again and again?
It's such a difficult business. It hasn't gotten any easier lately. If you worked in one of our restaurants for a month, you know a lot of people of our guests, the regulars. And we try to treat them like family, like when they're walking into your living room or your kitchen at home, and take care of their needs. And that's what we've always done.
Well, thank you so much. One of the first places I went to when I came to Houston and continue to go to today, and I'll tell my son, it's like you're partly made from Molina's, because I ate a lot of that. Thank you so much, and congratulations to your family.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
All right, Molina's Cantina has 3 locations across the greater Houston area. To learn more, visit greatdayhouston.com.